Hi, Happy New Year. Welcome to Cosmic Consulting. I know that I'm very slow on monthly tarot readings for your sign, but I am figuring my content flow. So, without further ado, welcome to 2021's Pick a Card reading. And this one focuses specifically on the blessings and the upgrades that you are going to receive as in the beginning of the year. So normally you'd have to pick a crystal to select a pile, but I am a hardcore cassette enthusiast, so you're gonna have to choose some cassettes instead. So pile 1, we have Kylie's Disco. And pile 2, we have the Spice Girls, Mama / Who Do You Think You Are? And for pile 3, we have Madonna's True Blue. So, take a deep breath. Whichever card calls out to you, whichever artist calls out to you, just go with that, go with the message. And if it doesn't resonate, watch the other piles if you'd like. So, let's get started. So, for pile number 1, you guys went with Kylie's Disco, which is such a fantastic album. But I'm not here to talk about the album, I'm here to talk about your cards. So, I used the Morgan Greer Tarot deck, as well as the Work Your Light Oracle deck, and the Rebel Oracle deck. So, here are your cards. All right, so pile number 1. What's coming for you is just brand new beginnings, just new ways of seeing reality, new perceptions, new perspectives with the Fool here. I'm seeing that you guys are entering a new cycle of being more vigilant. I'm not going to say aware, but just being more vigilant. I think you guys are much more better now in terms of sniffing out bullshit. You guys are so much more connected to integrity, and it also feels that you're very much ready to question this authority, to question, well, not question authority, but just to question anyone that is like being shady or if they're being dishonest. It's like you don't really care anymore if like they're an authority figure or if you're going to like upset the balance. You're just much more assertive. I think because in the past all sorts of shit had been going on behind your back, and it's not that you were oblivious to it. You knew what was going on, but you never really dared to like speak up about it. And then we also have the Knight of Wands here with the Two of Pentacles. So I feel that you guys have really learned to adapt. You know how to navigate, very high adaptable changing environments, very changeable environments. I mean, of course, the year has taught a lot of us to be adaptable, but you guys know how to sort of balance passion. You know how to balance knowing when to take action, and you know how to balance knowing when to just move around, and knowing also like when to stop. It's like there have been there's been so much of extremes that you guys have been going through, and you guys are actually managing that well. It's like even if things are like really fluctuating, and even if the energy is like out of control, you know how to do it. You know what you want, and you know what keeps you going, what drives you, what motivates you. Yeah. And the oracle cards I pulled out were the Council of Light from the Work Your Light Oracle deck. It says divine orchestration, helpers in the subtle realms. And then the second card I have is the Rebel. It's from the Rebel Oracle deck, and it says stop talking, shut your mouth and listen. Yeah, this deck is very unfiltered. That's why I like it. Okay, so the Oracle cards, Council of Light, divine orchestration, helpers in the subtle realms. to have that compared, sorry, to have that next to the card that says stop talking, what I'm figuring out for you is that I think you are finally learning how to accept help. You are also just getting better at learning to listen. So what I'm also picking up is that you guys are actually being much more, your communication skills have definitely increased. And I think there is also a very, there's been, ego awareness in terms of, because from my experience, when people are afraid to accept help or to ask for help, it comes from a place of ego. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but I was like that too. And the Council of Light is like there to let you know that it's actually somehow, somewhat, you know that help is coming in. There's so much more optimism for you. I think you guys are aware that help will be help is around you and support is always around you. And I think that you guys are also slowly starting to, remove the shame in asking for help. Yeah. Yeah. So pile number 1, Kylie's Disco. That's your tarot reading. That's your oracle card reading. All right, so on to the next pile. Next pile, those of you who chose Spice Girls, Mama / Who Do You Think You Are? Very groovy single, but it's a complete contrast from the cards that I chose, which is from the Dark Grimoire deck. This one is much more darker, as its name suggests. Okay. So, pile number 2. Who do you think you are? Okay. So the first card we have is Death. We have death energy in the air. No, I'm not fear-mongering you. Nobody's physically dying, yeah? So yeah, the death energy for me is just, I think you guys are so much more comfortable if things end, if things don't go your way. Like, I think you guys are very much in tune with that energy of like, when something ends, when one door closes, another opens. And it's like whenever you guys are faced with just things that don't go your way, or endings, or sudden endings, or just things being taken away from you, it's like you're very much accepting of the energy. You are so much more welcome to change. You don't resist it anymore. I think maybe the last year has just taught everyone to embrace and accept changes rather than resisting them. But I don't know, maybe because death is also related to Scorpio, so I'm also picking up so much of prior resistance. So this is definitely something that you have been actively working to figure out. And with the 6 of Wands, this is confirmation that you have triumphed over it. Maybe there has been a need of control. I mean, that's the reason why most people can't accept change. It's because they want to be around a situation, an environment that they can control. And that now that you've done all this work, this is the time for you to just enjoy this new you, this new state of being. In a way, it is an upgrade, right? So I think you're also learning to kick back and treat yourself and reward yourself and just congratulate yourself whenever you do well. So I'm also picking up more positive self-talk. We also have the 9 of Wands as well as the Emperor. Yeah, sorry. But yeah. 9 of Wands and the Emperor. So what I'm picking up is that I think you guys are also learning not to be overly defensive. I think it comes back to like the whole ego thing where, whenever an ego is bruised or hurt, it's very sensitive and it makes you just, be on the lookout and make yourself ready for any kind of opposition, and you're always ready to pounce. I feel like you guys have also been doing so much less of that these days. we do have the nines here. So, there's still bits and pieces of that, but you are already reaching the end of having these things take over you. Like these things, maybe like, your hurts have really taken your power away from you. You've given so much power away to it, but all that has been significantly decreasing, and you're almost done like dealing with this energy and learning what it has to teach you. And once again, we have Emperor, right? With themes of control, dominance, assertion. You're just much more in control, actually. I think it's paradoxical, after realizing how things cannot be controlled, I think you're like you know how to let go and focus like on the things that you actually can control, which is mostly yourself, right? And I think you guys are also much more aware of power dynamics. You know when to control, when to take control, but you also know how things can sort of cross the border and enter like, oppression or maybe repression. It's either you imposing that onto someone else or the other way around, but I'm picking up the former. So yeah, it's like I think you guys are just learning so much about healthy power dynamics, knowing when to give your power, when to assert yourself, when to step back, when to be forceful, how to be angry the right way, how to do these things like diplomatically. So yeah. Okay, so your oracle cards we have are the New Moon in Capricorn from the Moonology Oracle deck. It says, your hard work is paying off. And we do have a New Moon in Capricorn in about 1.5 weeks. So, look out for the new moon. You might, reap even more rewards. So, once again, your hard work is paying off. I feel like it beautifully reinforces the themes of all the other cards. Once again, just doing all the self-work to be in control and to, gain victory. This is it. It's so straightforward. I love this for you. And the next card I pulled out is the Romance Oracle deck. It doesn't necessarily have to be about romance, but if you do feel that it's about romance, it's up to you, because we have getting to know each other. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. Getting to know each other. Okay, I'm going to interpret this two ways, because there are people who are manifesting love, and there are people who may have already done that, or they don't want to do that right now. So for those of you who are, manifesting love, getting to know each other, you are, I guess, in the new stages of talking to a person, and you might be feeling need to be vulnerable. So I feel like that's not been something that you were used to in the past, and I guess everything that's happened to you has just taught you how to be more vulnerable. But like being vulnerable is not the same as being weak. You have the Emperor card here, so you're not afraid to pounce on someone if they get out of line or if you get stepped on. And if you guys are not manifesting love, I think this is more of just getting to know like more parts of yourself. Maybe this is for, I don't know, I'm just going back to the Emperor card. Maybe you had no idea that this was like here within you, and it's like you're trying to be assertive. Sorry, the video got cut. Sorry, as I was going back to the Emperor card, I think you were not aware of like your abilities to be assertive. Maybe you were always much more submissive or much more easygoing, and maybe you allowed people to like overstep your boundaries and stuff. But you've already developed this part of yourself. So you're just getting to know just new parts of yourselves that I also feel like these are also things that you have aspired to grow into, and you are the qualities that you've been dreaming of adopting are very much yours. It's a really beautiful reading. So great job, pile 2. Pile number 3. You guys went with Madonna's True Blue. Cute album. Alright, so the cards we have are from the Modern Witch Tarot. And, wow, so much cups. Alright, so your upgrades this year, I think you're much more better at just handling disappointment and sadness. It's like you know how to process it now. You know that these things don't last forever, and it's like even if it hurts and even if there's the intensity, it's like you are able to keep an objective viewpoint on it. It's not so much about being detached, you know, because it is hard to detach whenever things are painful, but it's like how do I say this? You're just so much more resilient. It's like even when you're going through pain, it's like you know how to push yourself forward. Like you have the Page of Cups here as well, so it's like you look at pain as a chance to understand more about your emotions. You're learning just, you know, you're just learning about your emotional intelligence and your emotional health and your emotional self, really. So it's like you know, you don't necessarily allow these things to victimize you anymore. You just see it as tools to teach yourself more on just how to keep yourself emotionally happy as well. So yeah, it's like, you know, there's something about developing your wholesomeness as well, and it's like learning to just do things all on your own and just learning how to just keep things flowing and continuing and to be sustainable in terms of emotions. It's like knowing how to just keep yourself going. Yeah. And coming back to the term of keeping yourself going with the Nine of Cups, it's like you're just more accepting over the emotional extremes that you get thrown into, because somehow, somewhat, you still already are figuring out the things that you know make you feel fulfilled. So it's like you know how to create that security for yourself already, you know, despite these things to this as well. So it's like you know how to move around. You know, it's emotionally you are all over the place, but you still have your grounding. You still have everything, you know, set in place, because you know what you need to make yourself happy, and you are following the formulas that you have set for yourself. So great job, pile 3. The next cards we pulled out is from the Moonology deck. It says, Waxing Moon, the energy is gaining momentum. So I just think that, you know, your emotional health and your emotional expansions are just gaining momentum. Obviously, they are also just strengthening, as you can see, and they're also just peaking. So I think, you know, I think after this peak, you're going to just find yourself on a new level of being emotionally stable. Yeah. Now you're just grounded, because emotions aren't necessarily stable. They're like all over the place. But you will start to enter a new period of emotional stability. because you have been integrating all these lessons like really, really well. So yeah, allow the energy to gain momentum. It's a waxing moon, right? So waxing moons are, periods where it increases in light and then it finally peaks when it hits the full moon. So just, so much of things are just growing and coming out, and just, surrender to the sweetness, as this card from the Starseed deck implies. It says, Venus energy, pleasure, joy, make love to light. Yeah, so we have the Ten of Cups, right? It's definitely, you definitely are so much more in tune with what brings you pleasure, with what brings you joy, how to just relax and indulge and treat yourself whenever you need to. So it's like, pile 3, you are really, navigating your emotions, and there is a healthy aspect to it. So yes, surrender to the sweetness. Okay. So that was it for the pick a card readings. I hope they were helpful. If it resonated, leave a comment, like, subscribe, share. If it doesn't resonate, watch the next pile. And thank you so much, and wishing you an abundant 2021.